everyone. My name is Sarah Gold, and myself, along with my colleagues in the Cooperative Purchasing program at WiLS, want to welcome you and thank you for joining us for Taco Tuesday. This series is held on the first Tuesday of every other month and is an opportunity to connect our vendor partners with you. The webinars today will be recorded and then they'll be shared out as segments to allow our members to learn more about products and services that are of most interest to them in 15-minute sound bites. The links will be shared with everyone who registered, and they'll also be posted on the WiLS website, several places, including the Taco Tuesday page and on the individual vendor pages. And then they'll also be shared out on our individual co-op listservs. So without further ado, I would like to go ahead and introduce you to our first presenter today, Julie Wang from Docuseek. Will be talking about the Docuseek K-12 collection. Julie, welcome. Let me go ahead and allow you to share. Okay.
Just a moment. Who do you want to send it to?
Julie, are you there?
Hi.
Okay,
Can you hear me?
There you go. Yep,
Okay.
And your screen looks great.
Okay, well, my name is Julie Wang. I'm part of the sales and marketing team at Docuseek. So I want to welcome everyone and thank you so much for taking the time to join today. I also want to quickly thank Sarah and WiLS for this amazing opportunity to present our K-12 offering to you today. I'll be presenting an overview of Docuseek so you can have a better understanding of what we do. And I'll also leave time for Q&A and also share my contact details at the end. So, okay. So what is Docuseek? Docuseek was created almost 8 years ago when streaming was just emerging in the educational market. It was created by two very long-standing film distributors that you might already know, Bullfrog Films and Icarus Films. They've both been around for almost each 40+ years. And today the Docuseek collection contains almost 1,700 films and documentaries made up of exclusive, highly curated content from 16 distributors. And there's no overlap on other streaming platforms, so our content is exclusive to Docuseek. We are unique in that we have close relationships with our distribution partners and filmmakers to bring you award-winning and timely content for your classroom. The Docuseek collection is widely used globally in all academic courses from K-12 all the way up through higher education. So this slide, just so you can see, it lists all of our streaming features. I won't go through all of them, but as you can see, Docuseek has the latest features for bringing content to your school. I'll actually expand on a few here that we often get questions on. So our streaming platform is accessed through IP proxy, or it can integrate with any learning management system. We license individual titles all the way up to the entire Docuseek collection, and our terms are 1 year, 3 year, and life of file. We support accessibility requirements such as closed captioning for 99% of the collection. There are easy to access tools such as analytics, searchable transcripts, clip making, and playlists. And if you register on our website, on our public website, docuseek.com, you can preview up to 10 minutes of every title, and there's no obligation. And in addition, we do offer free 30-day trials at your convenience. So here's a sample of some of our new fall releases and our most popular titles you might be familiar with that are included in the Docuseek K-12 streaming collection. Just to point out a couple, we're really excited about a film called We Are the Radical Monarchs, which was recently broadcast on PBS about an alternative to the Scout movement for girls of color. The documentary Day One is about a public school in the US for children refugees. And John Lewis, Get in the Way is a biography about the late civil rights hero. And 63 Boycott is a documentary, was shortlisted for an Academy Award, is about peaceful student-led protests for quality education. And actually right now we are offering as a promotion 63 Boycott for free to K-12 schools only till the end of this month. So I'm happy to set that up for you. If you can just shoot me an email, which I'll give you my email at the end of this presentation, but we are offering that for free right now. So there's a lot on this slide, but I will kind of quickly highlight what this is. It's our licensing models. So Docuseek understands the different needs of schools and budgets. So we offer several licensing and payment options with 4 main collections that we have. So collections can be licensed, as I said earlier, for 1 year, 3 year, or life of file. And the great thing about collections is that new titles are added quarterly within the subscription period at no extra cost. So that is definitely to your benefit. So just to jump in, our first and most affordable subscription is the Docuseek K-12 collection, which we specifically curated. And it contains about 225 titles currently of our best-selling and most popular titles for K-12. And just some highlights in terms of subjects in the collection are films on anthropology, social justice, mental health, global studies, history, literature, science, and sustainability, all appropriate for K-12. And the second collection that I'll mention is what we call the Essential Collection. And that collection is made up of 800 of our most popular best-selling and new release titles all across the entire Docuseek catalog. So we make sure that that collection stays at 800 based on the titles that are in most use. And then the third collection that we just announced is what we call Docuseek Select. And this is a 400 title collection, but this collection you can build and curate based on what is most used at your school, whether it's anthropology or sustainability or race and racism, but that collection is something that you can curate on your own based on subjects. And then our fourth and biggest collection is what we call the Docuseek Complete Collection, which includes all 1,700 titles on Docuseek. So those are 4 main collections. If your school is focused on single titles, single title purchases, you can order on an individual title basis, or we have what's called a token program, which saves you money per title if you can commit to a minimum of 10 titles. So our token program brings down the price per title, and you have up to a year to select your films. A couple other things I'll mention with licensing. So I'm sure a lot of you might have DVDs now that are required for streaming, and we do offer discounts for what we call DVD upgrades to streaming if the title is on Docuseek. So just to keep that in mind. And finally, you can also license smaller collections. For example, you can purchase just the Bullfrog Films collections or just the sustainability collection. So essentially, we are extremely flexible and want to work with you for whatever your school requires. Now that I've covered how to license our films, I just want to quickly tell you about our marketing program if you subscribe. So we're proud of this because once you purchase a subscription, we don't go away. We stay with you to make sure our collection is a success at your school. And just to show you, here are some examples of our marketing materials that you can customize and brand for your school. One of the tools we provide is a search widget that can be embedded on your website and LibGuides. We also have over 20 promotional flyers that you can use to showcase the Docuseek collection. And we also provide printed bookmarks and shelf talkers that you can use in your library around school to remind students, teachers that online media collections complement courses and reading materials. So all these materials are sent once you subscribe in a starter kit, both in physical and electronic formats. So I'll leave you with a quote from one of our longtime customers, Chris Lewis from American University. He says, "If you love documentaries, Docuseek is an embarrassment of riches. There is simply no other documentary collection on par with Docuseek." We'd love for you to sign up for our newsletters from our homepage. We only email once a quarter, and it's truly the best way to get updates and news from us. You could also find us on social media. And that's it. I want to thank you so much again for your time today, and we hope to see you on board in the near future. And as I mentioned here in my contact details, I'm available at any time. Feel free to reach out. And now I can turn it back to Sarah for any questions.
Thanks so much, Julie. We have a few minutes. Does anybody have any questions for Julie right now? Okay, I'm just checking the chat. Oh, here's one. Nell is asking how we get actual prices. Nell, that's a great question. Actually, what we will do when we send out the webinar is we ask you to fill out our co-op price quote request form that can gather all the information that we need, and then we pass that on to Julie as soon as we receive it, and she will provide a quote to us, and we'll enter it into your WiLS portal, and you'll receive an email that that quote is waiting. Great question. Anybody? Let's see. Danielle says that some of my teachers have asked about watching 60 Minutes episodes. I don't believe schools can get CBS All Access. Is that something that might be a part of Docuseek, Julie?
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have the CBS collection or any kind of news programs like CBS. Mainly, we mostly have independent documentaries.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else with questions? Okay, I'm not seeing any. I just want to thank you again, Julie, for taking the time to share with us about Docuseek K-12. We're so excited to have this offering for our K-12 students. I know we've worked with you at the higher ed level for quite a while, and it's exciting to be able to offer this to our K-12 students.
Well, I'm equally or more excited, so I'm happy to be here, and thank you again so much.
That's great. Okay, thank you. All right, so let's see. Moving on, we are going to now move to Talon Treb. Talon is the enterprise sales manager for Joann. you're probably familiar with Joann Fabrics, and Talon's going to talk about CreativeBug, which is a fabulous database that has gotten a lot of interest with our public libraries. Welcome, Talon. If you want to go ahead, let me see here. I'm going to stop sharing so that you should be able to.
Perfect. And can you hear me, Sarah?
Yeah, you sound great.
Great, thank you. Well, again, when I get this set up here, I do appreciate everyone for taking the time to listen to me as well. I am kind of condensing a usually 45-minute overview of CreativeBug into 15. So when I start this here, you're going to see my name and my email address there. So if everyone can, just mark that down, because after this, I mean, to be honest, it's going to be kind of a data dump of a lot of info. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me directly. I handle all new libraries that come on board, basically to the point of setup. So any questions usually come directly to me anyway. But again, my name is Talon Treb. I am the Enterprise Sales Manager at CreativeBug/Joann. I'll get into that here in a minute. But I guess the first question is, what is CreativeBug? CreativeBug is an e-resource/database that we made available to public libraries. Patrons would have, an all-access, no boundaries pass to 1,500 plus video tutorials, and these cover the whole gamut of arts and crafts, whether it's sewing, knitting, quilting, crocheting, painting, jewelry making, and it's all skill levels as well. So you're talking, basic techniques for beginners up to more advanced, quilting projects, that sort of thing. All our videos are produced by renowned artists and creative experts of their field. CreativeBug HQ actually sits out in San Francisco, and that's where they have their studio to film all the classes and bring in all the instructors. I sit at the Joann headquarters in Hudson, Ohio. We're basically between Akron and Cleveland, and that's where I work out of. But our platform it's really simple and intuitive. If you've used any video platforms, very similar. So we have chapter features, we have note taking, we have able to 20-second rewind, and especially with the note taking in 20-second rewind feature, I want to mention that public performance rights, which I'll get into in a bit too, are included in all our subscriptions. So not only is it a patron database, it can also be used as a programming tool, which we estimated about half the libraries use it that route as well. But kind of a quick overview, CreativeBug itself has been around since 2012. Back in April 2017, Joann purchased CreativeBug, and that was for consumer-only use. So consumers can go on to creativebug.com, enter their information, get a month free trial, and then their credit card just charged monthly for the length of time they want to have it. It was kind of a completely unrelated event that happened, but one of our VPs, along with a high-level member at CCPL, which is Cuyahoga County Public Library System, were at an event together, and CreativeBug came up, and actually it was CCPL that mentioned, hey, this might be a great idea for our library. And in July of 2018, that's when we were able to launch to all public libraries after about a 8-month to 12-month ramp-up period with CCPL as our main partner, basically being our guinea pig, letting us try everything with them to get things launched. And where we sit today, about 2 years later, is we're at 800 plus libraries across 45 states. I started focusing on Canada and Australia at the beginning of this year prior to COVID. So we have 30 plus in Canada right now, 3 more in Australia, actually 4, that just happened last week. And in Wisconsin specifically, I do know we have 22 active libraries right now. And with that said as well, our renewal rate we've seen through the first 2 years is sitting at 91% as of the beginning of October. So we are seeing a great renewal rate as well with our members. Now to get into more of the details a little bit, remote access and public performance. So we build a customized landing page for every library that subscribes. It'll have their logo on it.
Talon?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I think it might just be my internet. You were fading out, but I think it was just me. Go ahead.
Sorry about it. Yeah, just let me,
No, you're fine.
Let me know. But yeah, we build a landing page for all of our libraries. And like I said, we'll put that logo on there. There's also remote access available through the iOS Android apps, as well as Apple TV. And any of that traffic is also goes to the library's usage stats. So we do have an admin portal, and I hope to just show you what that looks like real quick at the end here. And as I mentioned earlier, full public performance rights are included. And especially with COVID, it made us look into this a little more. Since all the content is ours, if the library wants to run a class remotely with patrons via Zoom, WebEx, etc., that is included in the public performance rights. We've also created links that can be added to social media or the library's website that will direct to specific classes. So patrons will then put in their library card, be able to enter, and move on from there. So that's been new over the past 6 months. Really, that got sped up because of everything that's going on with COVID. How do we authenticate your patrons? So all the common ones, we can do SIP, SIP2, barcode, patron API, easy proxy, open Athens, some hybrids where we do barcode external, IP internal. We really haven't come across a library that uses a method that we can't get authenticated for you. And like I said, we do have a live usage dashboard as well, as downloadable reports are part of that. So the live reporting is basically a rolling 30. So you'll see, active users. You don't see the individuals, it's just the total number of users. The downloadable reports are actually specific classes. So you can see how many times a class is being viewed and so forth. Now, CCPL is a good example for that. Because they were able to put together a year's worth of programming with our cricket classes, because they found after a few months that the majority of the types of classes being viewed were cricket classes. So they used that knowledge to basically build out a program for the year. We also provide digital assets, so logos, pictures. We create programming guides that you can give out to patrons, or you can just use those guides as templates to make your own. We don't mind if you use our logo on anything you create. And we also have MARC formatted content for the bib record uploads. Again, that's not something you have to use, but it's there for you in the admin portal. And as I mentioned, to help you market to your patrons, because part of the reason for success is we really harp on, obviously, the more you promote, the better that it's going to catch on. So that's why we provide those digital assets, but we also provide print assets as well. So anytime a new library comes on, if you have multiple branches, we'll try to get you a kit for each branch, which includes posters, easel bags, about 500 bookmarks. And honestly, if you run out of that, we won't charge you for it. If you want more, you just need to email your account manager. We'll get those out to you as well. And you can order those as much as you want. Now, within reason. We haven't had anyone really abuse that system or anything like that. So we've had a couple libraries that just want new assets monthly because they've been going through so much. So that is available to you as well. And the last slide before I take you in real quick, subscribing to CreativeBug, our costs are based on serviceable population. Right now, with everything going on and the uncertainty with a lot of budgets, that sort of thing, we have offered many libraries kind of from now until the end of the year free, which then would put the effective date of the agreement on January 1st. And also, since we are net 90, that would put our payment due date to April 1st, just to provide some flexibility there, considering all the uncertainty that is going on and needing to get into the next fiscal or a lot of things along those lines. Now, what I'm going to do real quick here, the last minutes we have, I'm going to stop my share and then I'm going to bring it back just to jump into another system here. Okay, I should be back now. Now what I want to show you is what kind of our landing page looks like. So our local library near me is Stowe Monroe Falls Public Library. So I pulled up my login using my library card. So most of our landing pages look identical. Obviously, the individual library's logo would be there on the top left. The CreativeBug is right there. Now we also created an admin login, which is underneath the barcode piece, where if your account manager sends you the admin page's login link and you lose it or something, there's always a quick access point there, as well as our privacy policy and terms and conditions, which are links available right there. So I've entered my library card in PIN, So I'll click login. Now with this, I do want to say one piece real quick. During the first login, it'll prompt the patrons to enter an email address and create a password. Now with that said, that email address isn't used for any marketing. We don't give it to any third parties. CreativeBug doesn't even give those to Joann. So it is protected, there's no privacy issues there, but we need that done right now to be able to log in via the apps. So if a patron wants to log into, via iOS or the Android apps or Apple TV, they would use their email address and password for that. So after you click that, you'll see success, and you click to see the latest classes here. And this is the format, how it looks like. So at the very top here, you'll see classes. If you hover over that, it's broken down by category. So art and design, sewing, quilting, paper, knitting, crocheting, food and home, jewelry, holiday and party, kids crafts. And if you hover over that, you'll see that there's subcategories as well to help patrons narrow down, more specifically what they might be interested in or looking for. So you'll see like home decor, ceramics, under art and design, paintings there, sewing, baby and kids clothes, fabric design. If you go over the kids, we even have it broken down to age groups. So good crafts for ages 5 and up, 8 years and up. And with kids, the one piece I want to say that I had to kind of remove from our overview is we are pretty heavily involved in the summer reading programs where we'll put classes out each year specifically for that. So like, last year specifically was the Universe of Stories. So we had a lot of, space themed crafts to help bring the kids more into the library for that sort of thing as well. And most of these can be done at home, as all our classes do have the full list of items needed. So for example, the Galaxy Slime was one from last year. I like to use this as an example. But if I click on this class, you'll see at the bottom of the video right here, there's a description of it, the chapter breakdown, which since this is a smaller one, or shorter class, I should say, there is 3 chapters. So we give you the overview, the materials needed, and then making the slime. You'll see the time length of each of those. If you click on materials list, it'll tell you everything that you need for that class. And the notes feature, which I want to touch on real quick too, is you'll see a bunch of tests here. So if you play the video, there's closed captioning as well. Sorry, I didn't have that muted. But you'll see the closed captioning there. This is just kind of a brief overview of what the video looks like, so you can tell they're professionally done and how they look. As I mentioned, the closed captioning piece, the notes piece, you'll see the red flag there. So if there's any, especially for the librarians that are running a class, if there's something you want to change in it and you want to remember that for next time you come back, you take that note and it'll be saved there with that account. There's also full transcripts of the class, like literally word for word. So if you want that PDF version too, if you're not good with videos, you just want the full PDF to read it by yourself and do it, that's available here. And I got a couple minutes left, so that's kind of what just the basic layout is. And I want to say too, any library that would like a 14-day trial for you and staff, again, email me directly. I can get those out to you. I was going to put it on a slide, but today they are actually changing the login because our old one expired. So I should have that by the end of the day. But if you would like a trial too, please reach out to me directly. And I do want to jump into the usage portal. Cuyahoga County Public Library, let us use their info because they're one of our great partners. But I just want to show you what that looks like real quick. So you'll see their logos there. And this is their last 30-day performance, which is always the top piece. So you'll see the hours viewed of classes. You'll see average views, average viewing time. Then at the bottom, you'll have the monthly breakdown. So you'll see the active users for the current month to date of October, new users, and that goes down for the previous, actually since they began. So they began back in 2018 is when that started. So this is considered the dashboard for the admin portal. You see on the top left here, under reports, this is where, log me out. Sorry about that. And I know I'm running up against it, so I just want to show you one last thing. But we click on that reports piece. So you'll see the monthly breakdown here. And this is the Excel reports I told you about that will have each individual class's breakdown of which class is being viewed, how many unique viewers they had, the average viewers per class, and the average minute duration of how it's being viewed. Just again, to help kind of see what's really popular in your area, as it, to be honest, it is different across the country, we've noticed. Like painting is huge in some areas, and obviously jewelry making is huge in some areas. In other areas, those aren't even touched. We never remove content, and new content is added weekly, every Wednesday typically. So we should be approaching about 22,000 videos starting next year. And again, here's that direct class links if you want to put a specific class out. And under resources, as I mentioned, that's where the digital toolkit is with all our logos, a makerspace catalog, our mark records. They're all stored here for your use, and we update that on a monthly basis as well. So that takes me right to one. And again, I know I threw a lot at you, but yeah, I'll pass it back to Sarah. So if there's any questions, if we have time, that I can answer. If not, please feel free, like I said, to email me directly or reach out to me directly for pricing, trials, everything. I can get that to you. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Talon. And I know that we'll have a lot of interest, if not questions. Just a reminder to participants that we will be sending out the recordings along with the price quote request form. So you can either reach out to Talon or you can reach out to WiLS, and we will get that pricing to you. Thanks again.
Perfect. No, thank you, Sarah. And I look forward to reaching out to some of you. Last thing I'll say before I jump off here is if you go to creativebug.com and scroll to the bottom, there's a little link to the library program. If you want to see any library that's subscribed in Wisconsin, if there's any in your area, I know some WiLS are on there as well, just to reach out for contacts to get any references as well. That is there for you. But thanks again, and I'll let you go.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, next we have Angel DeRue, who is the Director of Training and Professional Development from InfoBase. Angel and I have had the good fortune to work together for several years, and I'm really excited for him to talk about feature films in education. Welcome, Angel.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me.
Okay, let me go. There we go. Now you should be able to share your screen, Angel.
Okay, let's see if that fires up here for me. Well, I better get used to Zoom because I just found out definitively this week that we're actually going to be switching over to Zoom for all of our own webinars. So this is good practice for what's going to be me every day for a while. So. All right, so thank you, everybody. My name is Angel DeRue. I am the Director of Training for InfoBase, and now actually part of the customer success team. So I'll be receiving some new duties along with what I've been doing for the past few years. But anyway, today we are going to, of course, be talking about feature films for education. I am not a huge fan of long PowerPoint slides. I just like to kind of roll up my sleeves and get right into things. So I just wanted to start with a couple of slides here. First of all, there's me, and just kind of give you a little bit of an introduction to feature films for education, what it is, kind of where the idea for it came from, and then we're actually going to take a look at the platform itself, and I'll give you, kind of a highlight reel, hopefully over the next few minutes, of some of the major tools and features. So the slide on your screen is a good summary of films, feature films for education. It is it's actually the newest film collection that we have put together from InfoBase, and it's available for both K-12 and academic classrooms. And so part of the idea behind it, and the thing that really excited me the most personally, is with having an education background, I know the struggle that educators face with being able to show videos in a classroom. We all have our own personal accounts to probably 79 different platforms, the usual suspects like Netflix and Hulu and Amazon and so on. And there's always that question, well, can I show videos from my own personal account in my classroom? And of course, the answer is absolutely no. That's not what it's meant for. And so feature films for education came along as an answer to that. So how can I show films in my classroom? And I'm not, there have been different platforms, including a couple from InfoBase, that are mostly kind of, you know, documentaries and educational videos and things like that. But there really, there are few options, very limited number of options for using actual feature film content in a classroom setting. And so feature films for education definitely checks off that box in a big way. It consists of right now a little over 680 titles. That number should continue to grow, and it actually might be 690 because we recently added a few new titles and I didn't see the number change. So I think that's probably 690 now. But anyway, this is being offered through a partnership with Global Eagle. They are based out of Canada. They service a lot of customers around the world, educational partners and school and K-12 and academic classrooms and so on. And so we were really excited to partner with them to offer this collection, which is really a nice cross-section of all of the major film genres, including some relatively recently released blockbusters, Academy Award winners. I grabbed a few of the titles from the collection as of right now. The most exciting one on the list, if you're looking at this on your screen, is of course Avatar. So the great news about Avatar is that up until this month, last month, maybe I believe it was late September when we added that to the collection, or it may have been very early this month. Avatar was not available anywhere on any streaming platform in any way, shape, or form for educational use. Now it may be on your, you know, you can certainly rent it and buy it on your personal video subscription. It may even be available somewhere for personal use, but it has never been available for educational use in any capacity. So that was a really exciting addition to feature films. You also see a few new titles up there as well from just the last year or so. A couple of the, you know, big hits from last year. I've seen, believe it or not, I haven't seen Avatar. I know its legacy though. I know it's a really important film, but I have seen Ford versus Ferrari and Jojo Rabbit. And as a person with an English language arts background, I'm familiar with Call of the Wild, although I haven't seen this particular production, which stars Harrison Ford. So anyway, so those are just, you know, some of the really nice highlights of the feature films for education classroom. I do definitely want to now show you what that actually looks like. Let me switch over to the screen share here. I'm just going to get rid of that box. Sorry about that. Nope, don't want to cancel the meeting. Let me get rid of that here. Let me switch to my screen so you guys can actually see the feature films platform. So this is feature films. It's actually similar to a couple of our other platforms that we offer here at InfoBase, but it's unique in that it's pretty much its own environment. And part of that, of course, is because of the content. It's you know, feature film content versus what we typically offer, which are, again, documentaries, educational videos, lecture series, you know, things that have kind of always traditionally been part of a streaming video collection. But we know from our own, even from our own educational experiences, that a lot of times teachers will want to, and instructors at the collegiate level will want to show feature films, movies, you know, outside of just the standard fare that you would find in a typical streaming collection for classrooms. They want to show those feature films because a lot of them can include things like literary adaptations, you know, genres that correlate to what's being taught in the classroom, maybe movies that have some kind of historical content or scientific focus. So these are all very important opportunities for feature film content to be used in a K-12 or an academic classroom. So this is, you know, it's pretty intuitive. I feel like if you've used other services of this type or other streaming video platforms, this is going to be pretty intuitive. I think it doesn't really require a lot of, you know, learning anything new as far as what is available to you. But I do want to point out a couple of the features. So here we are on the home page, and this is a nice way to see kind of what people are watching. We have this most popular slide at the very top here. You'll see, you know, a really interesting mixture of current films. We have Hidden Figures. That's part of the collection as well. We also have 12 Years a Slave, which is another recent release and Academy Award winner. Lots of, you know, videos that you could certainly see their, you know, the reason that you would want to use them in a classroom situation. I just skipped by one here. Where was it? There's A Midsummer Night's Dream. So again, certainly that literary connection. So with these films, you have a few options in terms of using the platform and kind of sharing these videos outside. You'll see as we hover over each of the poster-sized images here on the homepage, you're offered 3 different options. So the first is the share option. We've got some social media tools that you can share to. So if you're trying to, promote the subscription and make sure that your students, your educators, your faculty and staff are aware of the existence of this collection and its availability to them in a classroom situation, you definitely want to be promoting it that way. We also have, with your own personal account, you can save your favorite titles. So if you're using certain ones, regularly, you want to be able to find them quickly. You don't want to have to go back and do searches each and every time. You can actually take your favorite movies and add them to a favorites folder, and you can create as many folders as you want. Maybe 1 folder per class or course that you teach, 1 folder per subject area, however you'd like to make use of that feature. And then the third tool here is the embed link tool. Now, if you're using one of the more often used learning management systems, for example, Canvas, Brightspace, for K-12 users would be probably Schoology. We have direct integrations for all of those. So all you would have to do is go into your account, your existing Canvas account, for example, and search for the Feature Films LTI app. And then you can basically start searching and using the content directly from your instance of whatever it is that you're using. So Canvas, for example. That's certainly a thing that a lot of people take advantage of. You also, of course, can create an account within the platform, which is what I've done here for the purposes of today's demo. Doing that, it's a good thing to do, even if you are accessing the content from a different method. So if you do have Canvas, or if you're using some other external pathway to get to the feature films content, it's still not a bad idea to create an individual account, because that account is going to be in the system. It's going to stay there. It's going to have all your favorite information saved, all the settings that you've made, and that also is going to be a good source for later on, like if there's anything that you wanted to get back and find again. As far as browsing the content, the videos, the movies are organized according to genres, as you would certainly expect from a feature film collection. So you can see all the different genres here, and you can certainly go through some of these and see what's available. Given my own personal background, I like to gravitate to the literary adaptations, and this is certainly, if I, as an educator, am thinking of who I'm going to share this with, who am I going to speak to, I would say certainly the English department, is going to be one of the first groups that I talk to about this collection or this product, because they're certainly going to want to make use of it right away. And of course, they're one of the first groups that you would think of who maybe struggle with the idea of, well, how can I use feature film content or movies in my classroom and not be violating, copyright laws or licensing agreements and so on. So these are, perfectly useful in that setting. You can see some of the different examples here from the Literary Adaptations collection. There's Anna Karenina. Some of them are, YA titles like Because of Winn-Dixie. So it runs a really nice gamut of different, different groups, different ages, different, educational uses, from pretty much, probably I would say middle school up through college. So it's a really nice collection there. You can also browse all the titles that are available in the platform. It's pretty much an A to Z listing of all the available options here. I already mentioned there 12 Years a Slave. And again, you can see certainly the cross-section of current titles versus classic titles versus, ones that have really strong, very powerful uses in a classroom situation. We've got, for example, for younger students, we have the Diary of a Wimpy Kids movie series. Let's see, they should be here at the bottom of our column here. Here we are. So here are the Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie series, all the recent ones up until, but not including the one the road trip, road rules. I can't remember what it's called now. That's not in this collection, but all the ones from the previous previous generation, so all the ones starring the original actor playing the main character. So, I mean, you know, definitely take a look at some of these. There's some great titles in here. Ones that, you know, you may at first glance not even think, okay, how can I use this in a classroom setting? But if the need arises, you'll really definitely want to, you know, be able to use some of these. So very quickly, I know we're almost up against the clock here. The videos also include the tools once you log in here. You will have obviously access information to be able to view each of these videos. Once you get to the video player page, you'll see all the available information about each title, and then you'll also be able to choose between just the English audio version and then also an English audio version with English subtitles. So I know there was a mention of subtitles in the previous webinar, so I'll continue the trend and also point out that that is absolutely available in feature films for education, as well as some of the other things that you've seen today. All right, so I think that's my time. I don't know if you guys have any questions or if you have time to ask questions, but if not, feel free to reach out to me. I am here to respond to any questions or concerns that come up beyond today's webinar.
Thank you so much, Angel. And again, we will be sharing the recordings and have an opportunity to let people reach out to you directly. And if you're interested in a price quote, you can use the WiLS co-op price quote form and we will get that to you. Okay, last but not least, I would like to introduce Kyle Zagaric from PowerNotes. Kyle is the Business Development Manager. And thank you, Kyle, for joining us today. Oops, hang on one second.
Well, thank you for having me, Sarah. I appreciate the introduction. And just to confirm, you can hear me, correct?
Yep, you sound great, and you should be able to share your screen now.
All right, I will do that right now.
Okay,
Great. Perfect. So to get started, I have put my contact information in the chat just as a way for everyone to know how to contact me for questions, comments, anything like that. I will be walking through a fast track version of our product itself, so you'll be able to see how it works. For context, just to let you know what you'll be looking at, PowerNotes is a tool used by several different industries, mainly in education, higher education, and K through 12. On the K through 12 side, we fall more in 6 through 12, just because of how the tool works. PowerNotes is used by also researchers outside of education, so you may see some things in here that might interest you, even if you are not currently in higher education. So the screen that I'm on right now is our home screen, where you can find different resources on how PowerNotes works. You know, the background of PowerNotes, the science behind how we created our tool, why we created our tool, and all of that good stuff. But I'm actually going to jump into some digital sources to show you how PowerNotes can improve the students' reading process, organization, annotation, and how that feeds into writing, along with a few of our faculty and librarian-facing features, which help provide visibility into that entire process. So jumping here into the sources, this is a screen that many students will see, whether they are beginning researchers or they are in college, graduate students, all the way up to doctoral students that we work with. They will have multiple tabs open on various topics. For this example, we're going to look up some information on honeybees. So with PowerNotes, we have this sidebar you can see here. It is activated through our browser extension, which is the first part of PowerNotes. Currently, we'll work with Google Chrome, Firefox, and Microsoft Edge. Safari will be supported by the end of the year. We chose the browser extension because it will follow the students everywhere they go. So any digital source that can be opened up in the browser, that includes your LMS, PDFs, archives. We actually have an inline OCR feature that will recognize those scanned archives, quickly process it for the user, and allow them to use our highlighting feature. So with PowerNotes, you jump into the text itself. Instead of having to copy and paste, all you'd have to do is actually highlight what you want to save. From there, we have this text box pop up. This is the first step that we prompt students to do. We prompt them to organize what they are saving. We want to get them in the mindset of thinking about where it's going to fall within their study guide, their research or writing paper. So for example, I can put this in the background. From there, we're going to prompt the student to annotate. They're going to write about why this is important. And there is no limit to the text in this field. You can put anything you'd like in there, and you can go ahead and keep reading. So without leaving the page, we have saved a piece of information. I'm over here on the right-hand side in the sidebar showing. We have created notes on it, and you can still always go in and edit this annotation field. And an important aspect of this is at the point of highlight, we are going to save the URL. These are live links, so the students will never lose track of where it came from. And all of this information will be paired together. So they will never lose track of where it came from, why it's important, or where it came from here. Going to a different source, here I'm in the open web, you'll see the sidebar follows me with there. I can easily minimize it as well, or also if I'm not doing my work, I can go to the extension menu and it's easily disable it as well. Just to show you it works exactly the same, highlight what I want to save. I can create a new topic on the fly, place it there, and keep reading. Also, one thing that I like to point out is our image capturing feature. So instead of just being able to capture text, we can capture images. Take your notes on it. You'll see in the sidebar we saved this thumbnail here. Also, while we're in these open web sources, as we capture them, we click the citation icon here. We are capturing the metadata associated with each source to ensure that the students always have these this piece of information to format their citations. Most of the time, students are copy and pasting these fields one at a time, which is tedious and often leads to them forgetting something or having to go back at the very end and copying and pasting all of this information. So we will capture it for the students automatically so they have what they need to format their citations. Switching over to a PDF here. So I'm in JSTOR, a PDF-driven database. I can show you how it works the same. And then from there, I can keep reading. So for PDFs, we actually have a citation field where the students can come in and place the information. They can use the citations provided to them by the academic database. And you'll see on the right-hand side, and at the point of highlight, those quotation icons that were previously white, they have now been shaded to gray, a visual indicator that we have gone in, we have checked our sources, and this can be done retroactively as well and be reflected across every piece of content saved from this page. We also have a screenshot feature that allows you to capture more than just images by right click. We can easily take a screenshot of what we want to save, take our notes on this, and keep reading. So you're probably wondering where all this information goes. Everything is saved within the cloud, and it is saved in real time as well. So I can click on my project outline, which will bring us to our web page here. And this is where PowerNotes facilitates reorganization, something that's very difficult to do when you're within a word processing document, for example. So with PowerNotes, everything is still paired together. What we've highlighted is still in quotation, so we know it's not ours. We have our notes. We can still edit this annotation field. We still have a link to where it came from, and we have the URL as well. So I can drag and drop these. I can begin to organize. I can come into my topic manager. I can build out new topics. I can also use that to build out a brand new outline underneath the existing information that I've captured to repurpose information. Pretty much unlimited flexibility. I can also do a few different exports. So I can come and I can send this out to Word. So after I've got to a position where I can, maybe I want to share this as a rough draft, I can send this out to Word, and you can see it's a clean and consistent format. We still have our notes or our annotations, what we've highlighted, what it's associated with, where it came from here. And then if we've captured the citation information, it'll be located right underneath. So here we've captured this citation information, here it is. We also have a Excel spreadsheet. This was actually brought to our attention, or the kind of the idea of it, by one of our partner schools, the University of Pennsylvania, where they were manually inputting information into an Excel spreadsheet for a synthesis and analysis assignment. So with PowerNotes, we can actually facilitate this. So across the first row here, you'll see different topics. So if you recall, and go back into the sources, my topics in this example are background, new topic, and current trends, the things that pop up when I make a highlight. You can go into your PowerNotes account, create these, and have them populated here beforehand. As the student would make a highlight and annotate that highlight, we would automatically capture where it came from. So here are your sources down the first column. And it would populate in the appropriate cell as you would click export. So here, where you can come and you can create a row for, a column for analysis, where you can analyze across the topics. And then here's an example where you can come and type in synthesis, and then you can synthesize across the sources. So once again, we want to facilitate that process, something that's kind of difficult to do if you're just using Sheets or Excel, which PowerNotes will work with both Google and Microsoft Suite. Along with exporting it out of PowerNotes, we have the ability to share this project with someone that we are working with, maybe a peer, a tutor, a librarian, or our professor. Going out of this project, I'm going to show you another one. This is just an example project that I put together for the sake of showing how the tool works. So here I have this larger project that has a lot more of content inside it, but I have shared it with a testing account. So come here, sharing, and here I have all the folks that I've shared it with. For example, today I'm going to show you Professor Smith. I've so far made them an editor. I'm just going to change that to commenting for now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull over another screen, and this is what the person I shared it with would view. So they could come into my project. They can sort by different filters here. So I can sort by date. So I can see an overview of when Kyle worked on his project, all of these dates here. I can look into each date to see what he did on each specific day. I can sort by source to see all of the sources at a high level overview of what he's looking into. Click inside there to see what he's pulling from each sort. For group projects and collaboration, you can sort by editor to see who's doing what. Something that's very difficult to do with group projects is understand who's done what, when they did it, and what they're contributing to the group. So here you can see, here's what Kyle did, here's what this example person did, and this example person did. Going back to the sort by topic, which is the traditional view, which is just the organizational structure. I can come into and also not only see and sort, but I can comment. So I can, from the very beginning, I can see this project, I can see how it's progressing over time, I can see how my student is interacting with the text, with the sources that are provided, and I can send these comments over to them. These will send over in real time. So now I'm back onto the student view, and they can see that their professor had commented on this. And they can send comments back and forth. Now keep in mind, this can be done asynchronously. It could be done like I showed you in real time here. You can share and collaborate on these projects with multiple people. The key is to improve how students are capturing the content on the front end, how they begin to interact with the information, they're organizing it, they're annotating it. If they're sharing it out for peer review or for a rough draft or with their librarian for feedback, they can do so. Pretty much unlimited flexibility, things that are just not available through Google Docs or Microsoft Office as well. That is pretty much PowerNotes in a nutshell. I did once again leave my email in the chat if there are questions, comments on how the tool works, how we work with schools. I'd be happy to share more information on that as well. Just let us know. And I hope you all enjoyed the quick presentation. It was a lot of information, but I hope you found it valuable.
Thanks so much, Kyle. We do have a minute or so for questions, if anybody has any questions for Kyle. I guess I have a question. Are trials available, Kyle, for this?
Yes, we are considering the circumstances. We've kind of realigned how we offer trials and pilots. If it all depends on the size, but the short answer is yes. We would be happy to, at no charge, offer a trial, a pilot for your classroom, or if you yourself wanted to try it out. Actually, anyone can create a free PowerNotes account. That's good for one free project. Our premium version is what we work with our partner schools on, and that can also be purchased on a subscription basis that has unlimited feature access and different things like our OCR feature and so on. But the short answer, yes, we do offer free trials. Just let me know how you'd like to use it, and we can put something together and help get you access.
Okay, perfect. So anybody that's interested can either connect with us at WiLS or can contact you directly, and either way we will get people set up, because I know that this is a desirable product for many of our members. And I should note too that PowerNotes is a brand new vendor to WiLS. Kyle and I just connected, well, maybe about a month ago, right? So we're very excited to be able to offer another citation product.
Well, thank you.
Hey, thank you again, and thank you to everybody that joined us today. I do want to point out that we'll be sending out an email shortly, within the next couple of days, I should say, with the recordings to each of the segments from our vendor partners. And appreciate each of you taking the time today. Thank you to each of our panelists, Julie, Talon, Angel, and Kyle, for joining us. And we will be skipping the November Taco Tuesday or potluck. That is election day, and we're hoping that everybody will get out to vote over the lunch hour if they haven't already. So we will be having our next Taco Tuesday on December 1st at 11:30. So look for information about that in the next month or so. If nobody has any comments, I will say thank you again, and we will see you in 2 months. Thanks again, everybody, for joining us.